Hey guys, welcome to Top Channel 1-on-1. Today I want to show you how I made this tentacle animation using geometry nodes and some rigging tools. If you want to get these project files, you can get it on my Patreon page or my Gumroad page. At the beginning, we start with a line here. I resample it to add more subdivisions. Right away, I store some attributes that I know I might need in the future. Some I end up not using, but you can use them in materials or even adding detail to the tentacles themselves. So most of these nodes are just to store data like the length of the curve, the thickness of the curve, and others. I had to flatten the base here. They're usually flat on the surface to accommodate those suckers. To create this shape, you have a curve that needs a profile. So the profile is usually going to be something like a circle then that is extruded along the length of the curve, and that's exactly what I did with this curved mesh. But to make it flat on the bottom, all you do is we start with a curve here. I first convert the curve to a mesh so that I can easily store the indices of the curve, because I know I was going to be using them later. You will see why. To create the flat base, all you need to do is scale the circle along one axis, and you can easily do that using the separate X, Y, Z, and using that to scale down the position. Basically, at this level, the main part is done. I just added a few subdivisions because I knew I need to add some displacement to get this to look more organic. I make a few branches here. One of that is to generate some points that I would use for instancing those suckers there. And the way I do that is that I use these the IDs I created here. You remember at this stage here, we stored some IDs. If I look at the vertex attribute, you can see we have a count that goes anti-clockwise like this, 0, 1, 2, 3. And I knew that when this is squashed at this stage, the points I will need to instance these suckers on are going to be 2 and maybe 5 here. So that's why I store these attributes ID rings, and later when I create this branch here, we can see we have the points, and we should see if you take a look at the ID rings, you can see that we still have those ID rings 2, 5. Those are the points I want to instance these suckers on. And to isolate only those IDs, I do this Boolean math. So I check if the numbers are equal to 3. So that means I want to instance on number 3 and maybe, let's see, number 5. So the first thing I do is check if any of these vertices are on number 3, and that is true. And I do another check to see if any of those vertices are on number 5, and then combine those with the OR Boolean operator, which gives me this selection. So you can see we have true here and true here. Everything else is false, and those are the points I need. That's why you see we end up with these 2 lines, and that basically creates the foundation of our suckers. So then, because I didn't want all of these to be instanced, sometimes you see areas where there are no those suckers, and they're not really evenly distributed, especially around here. You can see that I will get this zigzag pattern, and the way I achieve that is by deleting some of those instances. So I just check the index of the points we have, and use the multiply and sine node. A sine wave gets us something like this. So if I have a point here and a point here and a point here and a point here, I can just check whether a point lands within the curve, so in this space here and this space here, and this is what this sine option gives me. So we end up removing some patterns like that, and this multiply option allows me to change the pattern as I want. So these points are now instanced on that. The suckers themselves is just a mesh that I modeled easily and added some displacement modifier to make it look more organic. Instance this onto the points we have already created, giving me this. I also randomize the scale of these suckers so that they are not of the same scale on every area. So I also have this attribute called length. If you remember correctly, we were saving a few attributes in the back here. You can see that's the one, and that's what I'm using to scale these down. So you can see that as the tentacle grows, these get smaller. From there, we join these to the rest of the geometry, which gives us this. But you can see that now every area where the tentacle is a bit pushed towards the tentacle, and the way I set that up, we ended up, I think, here where this is well subdivided. After I have the points I need, this also helps me create a proximity map. So basically checking the distance of these points from this mesh, which gives me a distance mask that looks like this. And I use that for the displacement of the faces, pushing the skin of the tentacle towards the suckers. I also add in some noise displacement, which gives me that organic look you see there. And then that's how I join the rest of the suckers to that. And realize the geometry because I need to rig this arm. And then, yeah, finally I get the arm. The rigging and the rest of the other things, you can just check out the course that I'll be releasing soon. And yeah, that's how I ended up with this. And if you animate this, you get something that looks like this. Anyway, if you want to check out the project files, links are going to be in the description. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.